And getting in some breaking news now as the US and other countries start taking measures. In fact, the US had an announcement to make as far as its diplomatic staff in Belarus is concerned. Getting in breaking news now that US has once again asked all its citizens in Russia to now leave immediately. So Belarus started with Ukraine and then Belarus and now Russia. US has asked all citizens to leave Russia immediately. Now that's the big breaking news story on the live report at 8 p.m. We have some more breaking news updates coming in, but we're going to get you some details of what's been going on so far. And after we do that, we'll try and show you what's going on with the talks. The talks have ended. Will there be a breakthrough? We are waiting for that. Meanwhile, let's show you the details of how Ukraine and Ukraine's army is fighting back Russia. Now in Kiev, they're encircled, but the army is fighting back, and they're fighting back hard. Civilians are also joining the fight in Kharkiv, second largest city in Ukraine. Ukrainians are battling Russian troops. In Lviv, Ukrainian troops are repelling about 60 Russian soldiers, and these are details that have been developing through the day. In Vinnytsia, air sirens were reported earlier, like in Kiev earlier. In Zhytomyr, airstrikes were reported earlier today. In Priluki, Russian forces were seen in this city, and we've been getting you videos through the day on Republic TV, giving you details about how the bombardment was witnessed in some of the regions, including in Donetsk and Luhansk as well. Now, let's get you some more details on a map to show you where all this action is concentrated. Now, these are the conflict zones. The Kiev axis, the Russian shelling is also being reported on civilian infrastructure, and Republic TV has been reporting from there, showing you the damage to people, people's homes, people's lives being lost. And it's not just the military army or its installations, but even civilians have been in the line of fire. The conflict zones, Kharkiv, which has seen most of the bombardment, the Kharkiv axis, Russian troops have advanced in Kharkiv and the firing continued today. Natural gas pipeline was blown up earlier today. We had that video, a dramatic video that came in this morning. Now, the other concentrated region of where the fight has been happening, the Donbas axis, the separatist region, the Ukrainian separatist region, now called a republic, recognized as a republic by Russia. Russian-backed separatists allege shelling by Ukraine. So there are claims and counterclaims by both sides, propaganda warfare. But Donbas has seen most of the firing and continues to see it. We'll have some reports lined up for you on the show. Crimea, the Crimean axis, also a conflict point in Ukraine. 4 or 5 different regions. This is one of the main sticking points between Ukraine and Russia, even as we speak, and even as they met in Belarus. Russian bombing was reported near the Ukrainian city of Mariupol. In fact, many videos that are emerging coming into our newsrooms showing intense fighting that continues near Mariupol this evening as well. Now, let's tell you that a natural gas pipeline was also blown up, and we will try and get you more of those videos in the course of the show. Now, Russia's three-pronged strike, it's not just one region of Ukraine that Russia is going after or is pushing. Look at this, this wall. This is the northern border of Belarus. Russia is pushing hard from the northern border. Not just the northern border. Let's show you the other regions from where Russia is pushing hard. And these are some of the videos. Okay, this is the eastern frontier. The eastern frontier with Russia. Now, Russia is pushing hard on Kiev from the eastern frontier with Russia, with Ukraine, and the southern border with Crimea. The conflict zones that we just showed you, telling you how from the north, east, and the south, Russia is piling up the pressure on Ukraine. Now, these are some of the maps that we had prepared to show you on the show. We have a report also lined up for you. We are reporting from Kiev. In fact, our teams are on the move, and we're also reporting from the Slovakia-Hungarian border. Slovakia has made key announcements this evening, including military support for Ukraine. We'll tell you all about that. Let's get you some reports and then some videos that have been breaking into our newsrooms. And let's also, by the way, NATO deployment. How is it looking this evening? Is Ukraine getting in more support, or why is Russia wary? In Poland, there are 4,500 US troops, just to give you an idea of how the NATO nations are watching the situation. As of now, they're watching, not doing much, but this is where NATO stands as of this evening. Poland, 4,500 US troops. In Estonia, 900 NATO troops have been stationed. Let's show you the next country where NATO has, and in Estonia, troops also from UK, France, Denmark, and Iceland are currently being placed. Not doing much, but they are there. Armored Infantry Battalion also placed in Estonia. Self-propelled artillery also on standby in Estonia. Air defense systems. So most countries concentrating their efforts also in Estonia. And in Latvia, one of the countries which is fighting for the people of Ukraine, 1,500 NATO troops have been deployed. Troops from Canada, Albania, Czech Republic, Iceland, Italy. Okay, let's get to the other countries. Lithuania, 1,200 NATO troops have been stationed in the country of Lithuania. Now, that's the NATO presence there. Troops from Germany, Norway, Belgium, also on Lithuanian soil as we speak. Now, that's where and how NATO is placed. 12 Leopard tanks, armored vehicles also on standby in Lithuania, anti-tank capabilities also available. Now, that's all of this is okay, but how many countries are helping Ukraine with military support? We have details for you of that. Let's first play out some of the reports that we've been getting you from Kiev, and then Donbass. Take a look.
Well, as far as civilian movement is concerned, it's absolutely nil, rather, at least on the roads, because what we did was yesterday in the afternoon when we were on our way to two areas. One was a metro station and the other was the place where an attack took place, a missile strike took place. While we were on our way, it's completely fortified. This entire city is completely fortified. You would rather have the police right now on the tenterhooks, because the moment we were also reporting, Priyanka, cameras were out. They were quite agitated, not very sure whether their movement is being disclosed. Because remember, there have been reports that have been doing the rounds that at least 30 people with arms have been moving around the city of Kiev. The Ukrainian police rather suspects that this could be Russian troops in Ukrainian army fatigue who are basically moving around the city, and that could indicate that there is a change in the tactic of the Russian troops. Now, to prevent that, there has been massive checking that is taking place in almost all areas, but the media has also been forbidden from filming any of those checkpoints, and that's exactly what needs to be respected at this stage, because given the fact that they face an uphill task at this stage. So just to recount what we have seen yesterday is that in most of these areas you wouldn't really find people out on the street. It looks like a ghost town if you really look at the entire area. But what's very important to point out here is that they've been very successful. They've been successful in at least ensuring that Kiev still remains in control of the Ukrainian government. And the other important thing is that major cities, be it Lviv, which is on the western side, or for that matter Kharkiv, despite the kind of intense battle that took place yesterday in Kharkiv, authorities here in Ukraine are still maintaining that most of these cities are under their control. Let's also now broadcast for